Good evening and welcome. I'm Jordan Scott. Alongside me is Jonathan Bryan. And a huge game tonight, John.
It's a huge game tonight, this one. A massive game, a mammoth fixture, this one. It's the last match of the home and away season.
Indeed. Team WoW versus Van Diemen's all on the line. And here's the lineup, John. What do you make of it?
I make of it that Brian and Scott up front have made a very effective strike force this season.
Certainly
Gale and
have.
Kidd, insurmountable in fact, in defence and risk, has been on top form.
Absolutely. It's a pretty classic lineup and a strong lineup. And they're away,
They get
John.
underway here. Scott just getting taken off. But here's Brian. He's going to try and play. Scott does so.
Great little nutmeg there from Brian. He's really starting to reinvent himself with a bit more of a playmaker, John.
He is a key playmaker, they've said. That's what the fans have been saying. And Brian really, since he's come back from Israel, he's redefined his role.
He's
in the
certainly
team.
come back a new man, hasn't he?
He has.
Was more of a scorer before, now maybe more of a supporting striker role.
Well, he's playing more for the team, I feel, and he's really realising that that's really what he has to do. And here's Scott trying to pressure the keeper.
Does well there.
Well, he does do well, and Brian trying to chip, but unfortunately that one doesn't make it to the goals.
Not a million miles away though.
Brian back to Gale, who plays Scott. Might go back to Gale here. And he tries a little chip, but it doesn't come off. Now Brian's going to pressure until the ball goes out.
Decent hustle from Team WoW in the opening couple of minutes.
Has been his Kid. And Brian now takes it off him. Will he play Scott here? Well, he's trying to be too fancy. They're trying the nutmeg.
Can come off for him sometimes.
Often does.
Don't blame him when he tries that every so often.
Yeah, fair enough, Gale. Scott just gets tackled. And that one's run down the other end. Here's Risk.
Well saved by Risk. He's been solid. Not a great throw though.
He's just get the opposition there. But here's Gale coming out with it. Scott takes a shot. Oh, he's just slipped there as he tried to take one. And the Van Diemen's keeper will throw it back out here. Ball goes through, but unfortunately...
Decent ball, I think. The number 14 maybe could have got there, John.
Yeah, a bit slow, that guy. I've read his report. That I was doing. But you were... Oh dear.
Wayward back
You see
pass
that
from
from
Brian.
Now Brian and Kidd mixing that one up. Bit of miscommunication. It could cost them here.
Corner kick.
Just getting back into position quickly. Corner taken now. And Brian's just going to...
Well defended by Brian. He's become a little bit more of a defensive player. Maybe that's part of the package as he's come back.
Who knows, here's Van Diemen's taking the kick, and that one's gone in.
Gone in the bottom corner. Our view a little bit obscured there, John, but a decent strike. Was Risk maybe unsighted there?
He could have been. We certainly were from the commentary position here, but here's Scott getting it back underway. 1 goal to Van Diemen's, 0 to Team WoW.
Unbelievable, John. I would have expected Team WoW to come out. They've got 8 players tonight. Would have expected them to score the first goal.
Well, it's a full squad. Here's Brian to Scott, and Scott scored. There we go. There's a quick reply.
There you go. Speaking of the first goal for Team WoW there, makes it 1-1.
Look at this here, and Brian collects. He's just going to first time with that little skillful little touch. Look at that.
Great little touch,
Delicate.
and Scott just has a slash at it. Puts
Scott,
that right boot on it.
that's
and
where
right
he,
in the bottom corner.
exactly right. That's where he wants it, Scott. And Scott's just scored that one beautifully. He really likes to take them from the angle, and he does on this occasion. And there's a little celebration with Brian.
Just swung the boot. Got lucky maybe. One apiece.
Well, I think it was skill rather than luck from Scott. He always likes to do that. Now here's Van Diemen's, who are trying to. Well, they're just it's 1-1 now, obviously, but they're still in it.
Team WoW in the ascendancy, I think. Maybe a bit early to call, but you can see a bit of fire in them.
Gale, and here's Brian trying to search out
Brian
Scott
again looking for a black shirt. Not finding it this time.
Not on this occasion, unfortunately, but Brian from the side to Gale, back to Brian, and oh, he's nearly searched out Scott there.
Scott might have got there, I think, on another day, but
Scott was there. He would have scored.
it's a huge call, John.
He would have. I know Scott. I trust him. And here's a nutmeg from Brian. This goes nowhere. Brian now running back to take this one from the side. Plays it back. Foster.
Foster's come on for Scott, it appears here, John.
And immediately takes a shot with pretty much his first touch. That's no surprise.
He can be a game changer, Sol Foster. Can come on, get 4 or 5, 6 sometimes.
Speaking of someone coming on, here's Thompson. And Thompson taking the ball now. Thompson, little back heel to Foster. Foster can't find a way through. This one's cut out. Van Diemen's in defence. And Foster does well to pressure it and get a corner.
Yeah, sometimes he can just do that, and that can be a useful skill.
Certainly can. Foster willing at the ball, which is always good to see. Brian sometimes takes a little bit to get into it, as does Scott, but Foster always 100% committed.
Absolutely.
Sharp getting a little tangled up there. That was interesting.
Gale tried to take the strike and Sharp's just running his way. That can happen.
Can do, and well, we'll see what happens. That continues to be a trend if they keep getting in each other's way, or there's a bit
That
more
could be
chemistry.
problematic, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, sometimes, you know, if two players don't have the right kind of... It's not like Scott and Brian, you know. Sometimes
Absolutely.
it takes a bit to get into it as Risk throws it out. Here's Sol Foster. He takes it around one. Is he going to pass? He often takes
Wouldn't
the
put
shot.
my mortgage on that one, let's put it that way, John.
He gets into trouble here, though. He has to try and go back. Does so. This is Sharp winding up. No, he's going to try and pass, but that one doesn't find Thompson.
Don't think even Thompson anticipated that one. Usually Sharp would have a go from there.
Sharp loves to wind up in the defence and have a crack, but
Can go in at times too.
certainly got a great boot on him. As that one's poofed upfield. Here's Gale taking it, but then getting tackled, but
Fancy
running back.
footwork from Gale.
He's run back there.
So handy as a defence. He's fearless. Happy to take it around a defender. Happy to hold it up as he's done there.
He has certainly done, and Gale again now. And I think he's won that ball, has he? He has. Now Thompson gets tackled, but Risk is there.
Steady hands from Risk. Surgical hands. So steady they are.
That's how steady they are. They're surgical hands.
Surgical hands from Risk.
Much like Thompson's hands.
I feel like Thompson's hands.
That's actually the case. Whereas Risk, you just
in a
using
literal sense.
a literal sense, isn't it? Anyway.
Kick for Van Diemen's
Yeah,
here.
certainly. Now, here they are in defence. Now, it's obviously interesting to see what they can actually do here with the ball.
It was a scrappy first half, John.
Hasn't been the nicest to watch so far. But a couple of passes for Van Diemen's. It breaks down with Thompson, but they do get it through until it goes wide of the post. Risk
Weak
will take
shot
that one.
from Van Diemen's. They need to do more here if they want. I mean, they're playing for a finals place here, John.
They are indeed playing for a finals place. That's a great point. Here's Sharp, and that one's not too far away from the
I
post.
don't know how much they're keeping you about that one. Took a last-minute deflection.
Did indeed, and Sharp nearly scoring one to open his account for the night. Doesn't on this occasion. Foster's going to take it from the corner now. Foster.
Decent ball in from Foster.
Tries
Tries
to
to find its way back. Another decent strike from Rob Sharp.
Sharp again, another rocket. He's just trying it out, just keeping the keeper on his toes. Gale, Thompson, and Foster
Did
finished it
Foster
off.
get legs on that one, John?
Foster certainly did. Here we go. Thompson.
I think he's trying the shot there,
He's
John.
trying to shoot, but Foster sticking out the left foot. It goes in.
Vital redirection off the left. That's something that Foster can really do for you. Just puts a foot out. That's all you need to do. Can be a difference between a win and a loss sometimes, but I don't think so tonight.
Well, what's the score now, Jordan?
3-1 at the moment.
See, it's just they're running ramping. Here's Thompson again.
My apologies, 2-1.
2-1.
I think Team WoW have just taken the lead with that one. 2-1.
2-1, just getting confirmation. And yes, the scorer has told us that it's 2-1. And Thompson trying to have a shot there. And unfortunately, he's going wide. Gale again bringing Gale from the side.
One of those typical runs up the line from Gale, which is it's become a trademark, really.
Skips around a defender, takes a ping. It's great to see. Foster gets around two. Foster turns. Foster shoots. Foster
Now
scores.
that's just typical top. So Foster, John,
Look at this.
takes the ball. He's not the surest on his feet, but he does manage to lose a couple of defenders there, and then just flings the outside of the right boot at it. 3-1.
Great technique from Sol Foster in the shot. He's not going to miss those ones too often, and he's 3-1. Foster with two of them.
Absolutely not. And I think he's just getting started here, John.
The Van Diemen's players certainly aren't getting started there. Mucking each other up.
They are mucking each other up. It's all about chemistry when you're on the futsal court.
Well, a lot of it is. And
13, 14th of the law or something.
I thought that was possession. Never mind. Here's Sharp now. He's getting around one and trying to
Runs
get
into
around
trouble.
another one. And it doesn't quite happen. On the rebound.
Something's
Van
on here.
Diemen's. Nutmeg. Risk again on hand. Gale got nutmeg there, but that's rare.
It's a case of an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object, John.
No, it isn't. It is not that. Okay, I think you've got that. So here is Brian. Brian's back on. It's a great ball to Thompson.
Fantastic
Thompson
ball
can play
from
again.
Brian.
Brian, unfortunately, pressured too much by the keeper who's coming out. Looks like Thompson might go the chip. Just not quite.
Taking the chip on the turn, that's never going to come off for you. And he doesn't look like he's too happy about coming off.
Hey!
Andy Thompson there for Jordan Scott.
Well, Jordan Scott,
Hasn't been
I've got
long.
to say, no, it hasn't. And Jordan Scott, I've got to say, he probably would have taken that chip and scored.
He probably would have. He's probably cringing in his seat as he sees Thompson make a complete mess of that one.
Complete.
Huge opportunity.
That could have turned the game. It was really looking... Okay, so here's Van Demons at the side, and they're going to try and kick in and score a goal.
Team WoW defending well, plenty of men back,
Risks.
and they're going to deal with that all day, every day, John.
10 times out of 10 they deal with that.
Van Diemen's just not throwing anything of any weight against Team WoW that's really looking to threaten them at any point here, John.
No, I don't know if they'll be able to score again tonight. In fact,
I'm highly doubtful of that, John. Put my mortgage on
I'd
that.
put all my money on that. I'd take a loan out from the bank just to put it on that, if that was a market.
Scott maybe could have got there, but he's decided to take the kick instead. Puts it back to
Brian
Brian.
to Kid.
Whiskers away.
Well, that was very close from Kid. And Brian, gotta say, he's really creating some space with those passes, creating opportunities for his teammates to score, and that's really good to see. Really encouraging.
Absolutely encouraging. It's good to see a selfless player in the game these days, John. We've seen too many players going forward, going for the strike, going for the glory. Brian is bucking that trend.
Yeah, he is. I mean, Foster, Scott.
Yeah.
So here's Van Diemen's keeper kicking it clear, and that one might have hit the bar or something, but Risk collects easily. Brian turns, chips it
A
over.
little look-away ball from Brian, but he suffered for that
Yeah, he
because
should have
it's
been looking. He should
hopelessly
actually-
inaccurate.
Yeah, it's terrible. So here's Van Diemen's with another chance. Now, yes, as you say, Brian should have certainly been looking there, but I mean, his skills aren't 100% now. I mean, he's just getting really used to the ideas,
The feel of the ball, the feel of the court.
and the passing that he's really gotten into.
Absolutely.
recently.
And I think it's important that he does try on a few tricky passes because those can really come off
They
and
certainly
get
can.
you goals.
Oh, look at that from the side. He's just smacked it into orbit, and Risk will... Well, no, it'll be Kid from the side.
It's just indicative of a side with really not much on. Not many prospects here tonight. They've come here to lose in many ways.
Here's Brian. I've said to this guy, okay, we're getting on the bus now. Let's just go out there and lose. But I know what you mean, man. I know what you mean. They don't... well, here's another shot.
That was a decent strike.
right.
That could have tested Risk had it been
on target.
absolutely.
Risk now has the ball, though. He's only conceded one so far. He doesn't want to add to that. And Van Diemen's again have the ball, but this one's cut out. Oh, sharp ninjuring around as that hits him.
Injuring around indeed. Took that one well. They're being bombarded here.
They are. Goes back. Brian tries to get it, but unfortunately doesn't quite get there.
Cool from the defender.
Sharp gets round one easily, and then the little...
Was that a nutmeg?
I think it might have been. That was one of my favourite nutmegs. I mean, Sharpie really does class nutmegs, quality nutmegs, and
Discount prices. Scott just gets taken out there, but Risk comes to his defence.
Risk does indeed, because that's what Risk is paid good money to do. Now, Van Diemen's have the ball here again. They're getting a little bit of possession, but Scott cutting that one out, and now it's gone out for a Team WoW ball and attack. So that was great pressure.
More
from
pressure
Scott.
on the defence, and it's just showing that there are some fault lines back there, John.
Major fault lines. Their three key defenders are all out injured, and that's really going to create some... Look at this from... Look at this from Gale. Nice little tricky around two of them, who really, I mean, I think they're probably the local baker and butcher, you know, and they've just been brought in.
Now, John, to be honest, though, I was phasing out a little bit there.
I'm just talking
And
to you.
I came in halfway through. Butcher and the baker, don't know about it.
I'm just
But I like
saying...
the cheesemaker for contention as
Yeah,
well.
thanks very much. That's the three defenders that they've paid to get into their squad, because the other three guys are injured and they don't have a big budget. They just got random guys off the street, and Gale's just skipped past them with ease. Kid.
Dead right. Not great from Kid there, just booted that one straight out.
A couple of communication problems between Kid and Brian, possibly. Will that come good? I think it might come good later.
That's the question, John. There's been a lot of controversy. We all know that. I think they've put it behind them, but maybe there's still a little bit of animosity there.
Well, it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, on the court, I mean, there's a couple of great balls from Brian to Kid, who's just run down, made space. Looks like they played together well. And then there's another couple of things. Brian kicking it out for the opposition getting a corner, or that ball from Brian. I mean, who knows what's going on there?
Well, both of them are quite unsteady on their feet, so
Here is
they're
Kid,
going to
isn't it?
lose it at some point.
Kid, great ball too.
Gale just blasts that one out.
Gale missing there, but that was a good try.
Wouldn't
Brian.
usually take a strike on from there, Gale.
No, but he thought he might chance his own tries, like and didn't come off on that occasion. Van Diemen's making a promising attack. That one's not going to come to any fruition. Risk throwing it up now. And again, coming up in there.
Well, that's what it can be like with futsal, John. You know, you try.
Broken attacks, but Brian taking it back. Kid!
There you go, John. As I was saying, that proves my point. You throw a few attacks in there, and the more attacks you get, the more chance you got of scoring, and it's happened here.
There is Brian creating havoc in the attack, and then just touching it back to Kid, who's made the run.
Great touchback, one of those typical touchbacks from Brian, and
It certainly was.
It puts it on a platter for the striker. They can't not score from that sort of range, and that's what you want from a supporting striker.
Well, I'm smiling broadly here in the box as I listen to the truth of those words, and look.
There's something about truth, isn't there? It wakes you up in the morning, even though it's evening. Goes to ground there. Foster, who's back on the field.
Foster's on. I think Brian was taken off there because he needed a rest, but
I think so. Also, Thompson back on for Scott.
Scott too needed to go off.
That change has been popular. It's almost as if they get Scott and Brian on to really do the work and then put Thompson and Foster in to consolidate, really. They're strong strikers.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Defensively minded.
Exactly what they're doing. That's exactly the game plan. And we've seen it a number of times in previous matches, but Scott and Brian having a well-deserved rest.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're not at peak physical condition at this point. I mean, we know they've had battles with asthma and eczema as well.
Yeah.
And everything else. So it's just great to see him out there, really. It's just a real success.
A whole slew of medical problems there, Joe.
I mean, you name it, they've got it, really. And Lucky Thompson's on the team.
All sorts of crazy tropical diseases.
Yeah, Brian picked them all up in Israel, brought them back, and Scott, of course, is Christian, so...
There you go. Good turn. It's a goal, John.
As we were getting completely sidetracked, making complete stuff up, Foster has turned.
Even caught the cameraman out there, because you don't really see the finish. It looks like a beaut, though, judging by the keeper's reaction.
Look at the keeper on the ground. I think he might get himself off for the second half, the keeper, because he doesn't look happy.
I wouldn't be surprised. They do have another able keeper in their ranks.
They do. So maybe he'll come on in replace of this guy.
McIntosh, I believe, is his name.
Yeah. How do you know that?
I'm a commentator, so I'm paid to do.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Big risk, big throw.
Foster. Nice little try there from Foster.
He's trying to direct those. I don't think that was a strike. He's trying to direct those headers, and he's doing pretty well. Just needs to find the line and the power. A bit like bowls.
Yeah, well, often compared to bowls, is futsal heading from a Michael Risk. And here's Robbie Sharp. He's going to shoot that one.
It's gone straight in.
There's no touching there, so unfortunately not a goal from Team WoW.
It just shows the quality he's capable of, Rob Sharp.
No doubt about that.
I run out of superlatives when I try to talk about this guy.
Well, you could try a couple. You haven't tried any so far. You've already said you've run out.
If I knew the precise definition of a superlative, John, I might try it on.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave that one for the fans at home.
Prudent. I will look at it later.
Teamoufutsal.blogspot.com. What is the best superlative to describe Rob Sharp?
That's the question that we pose to you as the many fans. I'm sure we'll get a big response because you're always happy to write in, call in, ring in, email in, and actually come in physically to our office. And
we'll have a couple of teas ready.
Cup of tea, we got biscuits, we got everything. We got shortbread creams, I love those ones.
Provided courtesy of Win News, CFM, and Hazel Brothers.
Which always do a great job. Zone 3, of course, for your little bit of fun and entertainment.
And Better Sports. For what do they do, John?
They make sport better. So here's...
We've got a bit of multi-ball.
Multi-ball on the court. Did you just come up with that one then, or have you been working on it over the week?
I've used it in previous games. Big throw from big risk. This time Foster ducks.
Ducks like the duck is.
This is getting absurd.
I don't know what I'm trying to say. Alright, let's just get back onto the match. But Foster did duck there. Don't know if there's anything wrong with that, because normally he contests the header. Is he okay, Foster?
He looks a little bit unsteady, but I think that's his general gait, John. Does certainly look like he's got an injury most of the time as he sort of walks around the court.
Yeah, well, here he is again. He leaves that one for Sharp.
That's a
Sharp
great
will play
leave, and they're
back.
putting together some great play here,
Yeah,
John.
not too bad. Foster again. That one goes back and Sharp.
How many passes have they strung together here?
Well, it was
Decent strike from Sharp.
There was a couple of passes, not that many, because it actually went out for
A lot for futsal though, John.
Yeah, no, lots. Foster again. Foster tries a little chip. Thompson tries to get onto that, to the end of that one. And then tries to play it back in, but unfortunately can't.
It's gone loose.
Gale. Foster. Will Foster shoot? No, he plays back to Gale wisely.
That's a surprise.
Yeah, it was interesting. Gale again. Well, it looks like Van Diemen's can't really penetrate the midfield. They're just getting cut out too often by Gale, Foster and Thompson.
And great ball from Gale as well. Not only does Gale put an end to attacks, he also plays the ball very well. He stays calm, he can elude defenders. I mean, what more do you want from a defender?
What can't Gale do?
I run out of superlatives. Superlatives fail me at this moment. My good friend, Superlative, doesn't come through for me when I try to talk about this guy Gale. Another header from Foster as we come to half time.
We come to half time. Let's talk about a few superlatives to describe that half. No, I'm just kidding. But it was a great half from Team WoW.
Quality half. I think they've come and they've done exactly what they wanted to do. Van Diemen's are going to want this more. Actually, a finals place is on the line for them.
If they don't win this, they're out. But let's face it, they don't look really hopeful.
They've come here to lose. They were born to lose.
Yeah, they've come here to lose the match. No, they've come here to win, but they're going to lose, I think, is what's going to happen. I mean, they're obviously trying, but they don't have the class, the quality, or the personnel. Yeah, all the capability as well.
All the Catholic between the posts, as Team WoW have. He's been solid.
Oh,
decent bit of play there. It was a great flick on from Scott. Brian's pass a little bit heavy.
Well, dude, that was such a good pass. How good that was.
Great stop from Michael Risk.
Risk. Now Scott trying to get back onto his other side.
Looks like Scott and Brian are really enjoying themselves up the front at the moment, John.
Well, once they've kind of done the business in the first half, they've grind through the opposition. Now they can just have a bit of fun out there.
Sit back and have some fun.
Now here is Sharp from their side. I think it is Sharp looking for Brian, who unfortunately can't get on that one. But it was a good ball.
Now, when you say can't, I think he probably could have.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Chose not to.
Decided against it. At that point in the match. You just, when it gets to certain stages of the match, you just say, hey, I don't want to take that header. I don't want to take that goal. And so...
It can be known to happen.
And so, you know, that's just in the nature of some of these players. They just think, well, is it time to take this? I don't know if it is. And we'll see what happens.
You did right. We will see how that plays out in this one.
Brian, back to Scott now. Scott takes a couple of touches. That's gone in. What a strike from Scott.
Big Scott, big strike, John.
That's it.
Have a look at this. 1 touch, 2 touch to set himself.
Now keep your eyes on
little
Brian.
Look away, and then the strike, nutmeg, and into the net.
No, it was not a nutmeg. Oh, it was nutmeg of the defender.
It was, and Brian puts off the keeper.
Putting off the keeper. Well, Brian.
That's just as important as the incredible strike from Scott.
Not as important. The
He's
strike
dancing around in front of the keeper.
The strike, well, the strike's pretty important. But yeah, no, he did put him up well there. I've got to agree with that, Jordan. And this one.
What are we looking at, John? What's the scoreline?
Well, I think it's definitely a lot of goals to Team WoW, probably about 5. And to 1 to the opposition. The first goal of the match, but they haven't looked good from there.
Absolutely not. I think even they were caught by surprise when they scored that first goal.
They didn't expect it.
Just hoping to hang on to it, thought it might be a fairy tale. It's turned into a nightmare.
Yeah, it's not to be tonight for Van Diemen's as Team WoW look to score a few more. That one, unfortunately, for Van Diemen's does not go in.
Risk having a fairly easy time. I mean, plenty of shots fired in, but for a futsal game, having a fairly easy time, I'd say.
Yeah, certainly Risk.
It is Lent, of course, for Risk. How might that affect it?
Well,
We've given up red meat between 10 o'clock and 1.
Yes, 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. is a very nasty time to give out the old red meat. It'd probably affect him a lot. Here's Brian trying to get past 1, trying to cut it back, but can't find his teammate. It's a counter-attack from Van Diemen's, which breaks down. They can't find any buttons.
Scott runs that out well, and just too much momentum for Robbie Sharp.
Sharp sometimes gets those ones, normally does, but on that occasion doesn't. Van Diemen's looking again, but breaking probably down here.
Brian getting pushed off. Is that going to be a problem for them, John? Against some of the stronger futsal teams?
I don't know. I mean, that little flick from Scott might be a bit of a problem. I mean, that was pretty epic.
That could be a problem too.
They both could be problems. But I think Brian and Scott, both of their class, more than makes up for these little factors. As here is
So,
Scott.
Decent little flick. Cute.
Sharp. Now Scott back to Scott. Sharp back to Scott, and Scott shoots.
Scott, look, he's brimming with confidence at the moment. He's just lashed at that one and it's just bobbled, and that can happen. You take a lot of strikes, you're going to get some wrong.
Wasn't too far away as Brian steals it off a player, but that one's gone out for a corner.
Now Foster was completely unmarked in the middle. What is Brian doing?
Brian's stolen off him. He's been like, okay, I'm screw on this one. I don't care about anyone else.
You reckon that's what he was thinking at the time?
I'm pretty sure. Well, Brian's played Foster there.
Bit too physical. Foster doesn't know what he's done wrong.
Foster often commits those sort of fouls where he doesn't quite know what's happened, but it's a foul.
How many times have we seen Brian try to intercept the keeper at this point?
I think 3 or 4. I mean, he's
always lingering.
Yeah.
Let's see how that comes off for him.
I think it might pay off in the end. I mean, persistence.
We're generally pretty good with our predictions.
Yeah, especially with this live format.
Ball back in. I mean, when Brian and Scott come off, I mean, a lot of things drop in terms of quality, but the passing gets pretly good.
As we see this amazing passing. And
about 10 passes they string together when those blokes are off the court.
And Thompson just missing, but that was a great little interplay between Foster, Gale, Thompson, and pretty much everyone apart from Brian and Scott. As you say, Thompson tries to find someone who gets just hit in the head.
Catches Foster in the head.
Now Thompson again shoots, and that one's not too far away.
Not a million miles, it's getting closer.
And there, of course, Foster just chipping the new keeper. We just have a new keeper, as we thought. The other keeper was too ashamed, embarrassed, and otherwise kind of humiliated to stay on for any longer after conceding 4 or 5 goals in the first half.
You're dead right. Nutmegs do not help when you're a goalkeeper.
No, they don't.
As a former goalkeeper, let me tell you.
Yeah, well, you weren't very successful. That's why you got out early.
That's right.
But you have played a lot of matches for Liverpool in your time, so here's Foster falling over.
What has happened there to Foster? He swung his right foot at that. Maybe should have chucked out that trusty left.
Wow, that was not good at all from Foster. That's a terrible. That's pretty much an open goal.
Doesn't warrant a replay though. Interesting.
Well, it should probably. I reckon that he pretty much nutmegged himself there, and
not quite.
Well, pretty much. Yeah, not at all. So here's Gale. Gale gets around one,
gets
pulls
himself
the
out of trouble.
Thompson sees
That's
Foster.
a great ball.
And Foster will shoot, will he? Oh, it's just come off the hands of the keeper and over for a corner.
That's a great strike from Foster. Just a little clutch strike, really.
It was, but Foster, of course, power in an instant. Here's Thompson.
What's he gonna do here? Got it back.
Takes it around 2. Thompson's hit the post and it's gone in. What a goal.
Fantastic from Thompson, as you can see. He looks for his options, decides to go himself, then tries to flick it back last minute. Comes back over to him, falls kindly, and just manages to hold off the defender, as he does so well.
The strength there from Thompson, and then beating the keeper near post, but the keeper really had no chance.
Does it hit the keeper, or does it come straight off the post there, John? It's hard to tell.
That one clearly came off the post in the end.
I think so. Great work from Andy Thompson. Classic Thompson goal. Bit of strength and then a great strike.
Great strike, near post, no chance. Here's Thompson again. It's up to Foster. Will he play Thompson? He can't.
He tries to, I think, there.
Thompson gets
the ball. Good to see from Foster.
Well, that's good to see, indeed.
For once.
Yep. Now, Foster has the ball. No, he doesn't. It's gone out. No, it hasn't.
Oh,
no, I've really stuffed that up. Sharp! We'll miss that.
And he's hit the Win News board there, John.
Well, Win News, always great with the local sport. Really supportive, and I appreciate that.
Speaking of supportive, Terry White Pharmacy.
Oh, they do great work.
The things they've done for me over the years, just in a personal capacity.
What have they done for you?
They've been so kind to me.
What type of things have they done for you?
Late phone calls I've made, 2 a.m. in the morning, in tears.
And they're always there for you. They're every time they're there.
Whatever you need.
There's about 3 or 4 staff. If you don't want to talk to one of them, you say, hey, can I talk to someone else? They say, sure.
They say, sure. I don't know why you brought that up, but let's get back to the game, John. That's what it's all about. Let's get back to the futsal.
Yeah, although Forestry Tasmania
You're dead right. I mean, where would we get the wood to play these games on if it weren't for Forestry Tas?
Yeah, well, we'd have to cut down our own trees, wouldn't we?
That's the only other option.
Just throw a bit more old growth forestry.
Absolutely. And the government at the moment, John. Anyway.
We should be comedians and satirists. and stuff.
Decent strike there. It's just caught Thompson, who muscles him out. No Cole there.
No
That
goal,
can
that
happen
was
in
fair, that was
futsal.
clear. Thompson, I think, felt a bit bad for him and just kicked it out there. I'm pretty sure Thompson was probably doing that. wasn't
Thompson, he's a kind and generous man.
he? Gentle would not be a word I'd use to describe Thompson. Kind and generous, certainly.
Absolutely.
Brian, well played there. Just getting it out.
Just flinches as that ball whizzes past him.
Yeah. Does he?
Wrist down low, takes the catch.
Brian gets past one here. Brian, will he play sharp?
Man to his right, man to
Does
his
play
left.
sharp. Well played, and the little chip over doesn't quite
I think
reach
Sharp's
Gale.
caught in two minds there. Do I curl it back post? Do I curl it into Gale? And he's just sort of gone in between there.
That's a bit unlucky, but it was good play there from Brian. Sharp, Gale, and now... Well, it was a good try there from Scott trying to find Brian, but doesn't quite get there.
I don't think that ball was out there, John. I think Scott may have just kept that in, but it's hard for the ref to tell.
Yeah, difficult, but whole ball, they must remember this. I mean, too often you see.
I am tired. I'm sick and tired of those sort of calls.
I'm tired as well.
Again, Sharp just can't quite connect with that one. He's frustrated with his game so far. He hasn't been on great form.
Well, he's played okay, but he hasn't quite gotten things working for him. His Spider-Man monkey ball risk.
Spider-Man risk. It's become something of a trademark, hasn't it, John?
And he collects that one no trouble because he works on that every week. That doesn't really.
Great flick over.
Brian to Scott, and Scott turns one well, and then
It's almost Thompson-esque turn on the side, just out-muscles the man.
that's a beautiful play.
Brian
from
doesn't
again,
quite
Brian
connect with the ball.
No, he doesn't quite get there. Unfortunately, the defender was tracking back. Scott shooting, and that's flawed. That's flawed.
Can we get confirmation that 240 Ks, John, that strike? I hope the defender's okay.
Well, I'm pretty sure the...
I heard a call of get down from Thompson on the sideline. He tried to do that, but he copped it.
He copped it. He might be injured there. He might have ruptured something. Would have been pretty bad. Now, here's Brian. He steals the ball, and that's a nutmeg. That's a goal. That was amazing.
That's just classic Brian. Now, he's tried that about 6, 7, 8, maybe 15 times.
No, I don't think so.
Trying
Here's Brian.
to nab it off the keeper.
Let's have another look. Now, the keeper is passing. Anticipation legend. And look at that.
Great anticipation. Just lets it get a bit tangled up. He doesn't mind that because that's confusing the keeper. Keeper's saying, where's the ball? Brian's saying it's right here between your legs.
Right here
and
between
it
the
goes.
legs and in the goal. That's rolling in. That's the game of the goal of the night so far, without question.
That's a massive call, but a great goal, John.
Well, there's no doubt about it.
Corner kick.
You
Team
know,
WoW getting hemmed in here.
you know, that kind of goal should give Brian confidence. I'm not surprised if he chucks a couple more in the next month.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, what's Scott on now? A couple.
He's
Foster's
not-
on a few. A couple of the defenders are doing pretty well. Brian's been playing forward the whole game. Finally got his first goal. I'd expect him to get a couple more here.
Yeah, he should do. Well, as we were talking about before, he's really redefined his role. He's creating chances for his teammates. He gets tackled there, and he's really playing well. He is sharp getting around one.
Great little turn from
Great.
Sharp. You've got to remember, he doesn't just have power. He's got a bit of class to go with it.
Sharp again, trying to nutmeg his opposition. Kid
Good strength from Kid.
doesn't quite get there, but he's back in defence, of course. And, well, you can't really see there, but it's well done from Risk getting it out.
This does do well under pressure there. Gale just looking at the time. It looks like we'll see another substitution quite soon.
May well do. And Gale on for who do you think he'll replace, Joe?
Gale, look, he's going to have to come on for a defender here just to shore things up. I wouldn't be surprised to see him take off Alex Kidd, but could be Robbie Sharp.
Could well be, or it could even be Jordan Scott and Jonathan Bryan. Jonathan Bryan especially being very defensively minded of late.
No comment.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because I don't want to undermine my co-presenter.
Well, obviously by saying that you have, haven't you?
Or you can take that how you want. Off comes, it is Robbie Sharp.
Sharp
for
coming off
Phil
Gale.
Gale.
Gale coming back in defence, and Bryan there too. And Kidd as well.
They've really been hemmed in here. How many corners has that been, John?
No, 6 or 7 in a row, I reckon.
Still not making many inroads, and
Almost-
out come Team WoW with a great kick.
That's
Looks like it's going to be a corner
resulting in a corner
for Scott.
here. Now, what will Scott do with this one, do you reckon?
Scott, I reckon he might take a shot. And he does, and it's gone in. Might have taken the slightest of deflections there, John.
Why do you do
But it's
that?
a beautiful strike for Jordan Scott.
Jordan-
Just takes a touch off the defender, which bamboozles the keeper. But in the end of the day, that's Scott's goal, and a great goal it is.
You're calling the match A now, Jordan. Now, obviously what happened there, Scott was looking for the pass. And
we're away again.
Yeah, so let's talk a bit more about that goal as Scott comes off. He's a bit disappointed about that. I mean, it's gone in really luckily, but he was looking for the teammate, and that's an own goal.
Well, that's
an own
get
goal.
The,
Now,
panel
obviously
on that one. Can I get? We're getting confirmation from the court, and they've ruled in Scott's favour for the moment.
You're an idiot, Jordan.
But we'll
You're
see.
a complete idiot. You're just making this stuff up because you like Scott. Okay? I know that. All right. I've seen you guys talking together. I know you coached him once. Okay.
Played with him.
Played with
him.
His
best friend for a while.
Yeah. Dated the same girl. Yeah. I'm surprised that didn't actually create a rift between you, but no. And so that to become the best of friends. As we make a bit of light relief of an own goal there, but risk from their side now. He's going to throw it out. His kid.
Very casual from Kid.
But he gets to Gale. That one's
very casual from Gale.
Very casual from Risk and Gale and Kid there in the defence, as you say. But at this point in the game, 7-1 or 8-1 up, including one own goal. I mean,
it could be 9-1.
It could be 9-1, and they're just happy to just muck around with it. I think.
I think so. Plenty of confidence around the court. Plenty of fun too. Great ball through from Foster.
Was indeed, but collected by the keeper.
Another bit of multi-ball.
Looks like it's going to be a free kick.
Free kick here, John. I didn't actually see the incident.
Neither did I. It's a bit dubious, I'd say. But Foster's going to be in the wall here.
That's an interesting choice. He's not the most nimble of players, John.
He thinks he's going to create some havoc, but will it just hit him? Yes, it has.
It's hit him right in the face.
Although it was a good play because actually Foster gets up and takes the shot. And
keeper did well to get down to that one. He's been hopeless on the night, but he did get down well to that one. It's got to be said.
I think it's just hit him. It's more luck than judgment. As Kid kind of harassing his opposition, he might get
him off well.
Might get the ball, but here is Kid though. Kid to Foster. Foster.
That is poetry, John. Utter poetry. A great ball. Again, surprisingly, Scott and Brian off the field where they put together a decent bit of passing. It's a good ball through from Alex Kidd, and what a finish. Keeper's not even looking in the end.
Keeper was doing something else or something. I don't know.
It's poetry, John.
I would call that something like brute force from Foster. I wouldn't go poetry. I mean, he's just smashed that one into the back of the net.
Poetry in terms of the build-up. A great ball from Alex Kidd.
Just like one pass, and then he's... Poetry, though, and he is Gale in the defence. Well, they're trying valiantly Van Diemen's, but basically they're just falling over.
There's a little hissy fit there. Hits his hands on the ground. He's frustrated. They know they're going out.
As Thompson getting to this one. Oh, what a turn! Look at that.
How has that happened?
Well, now, if you go back, I mean, look at the ball.
Look at the starting position.
Look at the run.
Look at it all.
Look at the chest down from Foster, the chest control. Then he just takes one small, well, he didn't even take a touch. He just turns around and smashes it.
Chest control was good from Foster, also from Thompson there in the goal.
Did I say Foster? I meant
Foster
Thompson.
has been good with that chest control
all night. What I meant was,
night.
of course, Thompson. I didn't mean Foster.
Great goal from Thompson. I think that they probably outclassed Brian somewhat. Going for another there.
I don't think it outclassed Brian's.
Personal opinion. We'll see what you say in the polls. teamoutfutsal.blogspot.com.
We will see that.
Be sure to vote. Who scored the goal of the night? We're asking you.
We're asking
because Jono has no idea.
Although once you see this, it'll already be kind of the poll will be closed.
Could be.
Maybe we should extend it or something. Foster here. He's going to score another one.
Another. Is that number 5 for the Magic Man?
No Magic. Sol Foster. It could be.
Look at this flick from Phil Gale. He's so good at that. Drags 2 defenders. A little nonchalant look away pass outside of the boot. Makes it easy for Foster.
Brian's been learning a lot from Gale over the past couple of days about how to pass, how to play that through ball, how to really draw the defender.
I think so. They've been in some training sessions together.
And I think you might find that Brian actually comes on in the defence in a couple of minutes. I think that was the word when they're winning and they want to give Brian a go without risking the game by having him back there, I think he might come
Give
on.
him a little bit of training. Well, Scott's on the field, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Brian come on soon. Maybe for Rob Sharp.
Yeah, it's possible. We'll see, but I think maybe Thompson comes off now. Here's Scott. Oh dear, Scotty.
Took that in his stride, and look, it's all fun and games, John. Takes the stride,
Yeah,
John.
it's all fun and games.
Maybe you're just a little bit too confident.
Yeah, you don't want to take goals. You don't want to.
There are several things you don't want to do at this stage of the game, and we might just see that from the players.
Well, yeah. No, but looking at Scott's shot there, I mean, was he really trying, or what? What do you reckon? He was trying to shoot?
I think he was trying to shoot, John, but he's just got it all wrong, and he's almost hit our camera woman. Big shout out to Elizabeth Thompson. She does great work.
Great work. Yeah. It's
Is that all you got to say about the camera woman?
What I also want to say is that, I mean, I'm really, really grateful for it. I really think she does great work. Here's Brian, isn't it? It's Brian up the line.
And typically he just gets out muscled there.
He wins the ball.
Oh, Sharp trying a bit of class, but he's just not been on target today at all.
No.
Been hopeless on the night.
And you saw Brian there, and again he's in defence now, Brian, and he tries to get that ball. But he's taken kind of all too easily.
Great work from Scott, and Sharp has just got back there. Little flick on, nonchalant.
Again from Sharp.
Again, Brian can't get to it.
No, that one was cut out by the defence.
Might be a little bit rough.
Right.
Probably an unlucky ball from Sharp. Brian with a little non-header there. He's become good at that, just hassling the keeper. We've seen him do that a couple of times.
As he steals it off the defender again. Doesn't
He's
quite
let
get
that
the
go.
nutmeg.
Scott's got an open goal.
He goes back to Brian for some reason, but Brian plays back Scott, and Scott will score.
I think that's a nutmeg too, John. Hard to tell from that angle.
Very difficult, but
But seeing as we're in the stands, that's not a problem for us.
let's have another look. And Brian, he takes it off the defender. Doesn't quite nutmeg the keeper.
The
That
strike
was
is
very
weak.
unlucky.
Scott, look at this. He can afford a bit of cheek at the moment. Decides to just stop that ball,
For
put
some
it
reason.
back.
Now here, let's take a look. Is it a nutmeg?
Then just
Well,
first time, and how good is Scott at those little curling efforts these days, John?
These days he hits.
Tell me how good he is.
These
That's
days-
his fourth of the night.
That's his third of the night. I think I've been errantly counting the own goal there, but that was his third of the night. Now he's got really good at those ones. I mean, he's made a name for himself. Brian in defence, as you can see.
Great work from Brian in the defence. I mean, he was in the attack just a couple of seconds ago.
So he's really
he
running
didn't really
around
come on
there.
as a defender.
No, he did, Jordan. He did. Okay, he did.
Good little... My apologies. Not a great ball up from Brian.
Well, it was okay.
And here comes the keeper from the first half to take that kick.
There's Brian in defence again, blocking that.
Does
shot
well
and
there,
getting
Brian. And now striding forward in search of a second goal.
back. Scott, unfortunately,
Might get
can't
a
control
chance
it.
here from the corner, John.
You call this bit.
Ball in from Scott. Stops on the line, and Brian has nutmegged himself there, John. I thought that was a certain goal.
Look what he's doing now. He's gone crazy, trying to get around to the whole team.
Well,
He's having
what
to
else
redeem
can he
himself.
do? He's got to try to redeem himself. I'd like to see a replay of that one, but
Oh, it's the end of the game.
The
Look
game
at Brian. He's
has
so frustrated.
ended.
That was the last play of the match. and
hands are
Brian
shaken.
made a complete fool of himself. Let's take another look from the corner.
We will
And
see a replay. A great ball in
great
from
running
Scott.
as well from Brian.
Stops on the line.
Oh.
Just not that technique. Maybe it's something in the shoes. Maybe it's in the feet of the player himself.
Maybe
I don't know
he's
what
just,
the problem is.
Maybe the fact that
What is the problem with Brian at the moment? Right on the final buzzer, he's missed that one.
as I was saying before, you don't want
Golden opportunity, missed, thrown away. And that has absolutely stained what was a fantastic game for Team WoW. That last little bit of play that Brian just threw away. Could have been 14, now
you're a
it's
funny
13.
guy. You're a funny guy. Now, it's a good game on the night. 13